Okay, you're live.
Good morning to everyone. Good morning. Top of the morning. Good morning. Welcome aboard. How else could you say good morning to everybody? Uh,
I don't know. You're just stalling so I can finish chewing my candy
yeah, I
bar.
know. She's chewing. Okay, you never interrupt Andrea when she's chewing, because you never know what she may bite off. It's unbelievable.
Oh
All
my
right.
god.
Yeah, oh my God. Good morning to the chat room. We see Mal Pal. We see Robert C. We see James Caprion here. We see the Milwaukee Brewers contingent. Guest Antoinette is here. Good morning to you all. Nice to have you aboard. As this could be the last game of the baseball season tonight, with the World Series probably coming to an end. What do you think?
You think so?
What do I think so? I mean, I don't know. I said it could be.
I don't know. I hope it doesn't go to game 7. I really do hope that it ends tonight.
Why do you hope it ends tonight? I mean, what's wrong with a game 7?
Because I don't want
Really?
to go.
Why do you think, well, hope it ends tonight? What are you tired of it? You feel pressure to watch the game?
No,
What is it?
I'm afraid of the Astros.
Well, when was the last time the Astros won 3 playoff games in a row?
Like
When
a
was the
week
last
ago.
time? Yeah,
A week.
8 days ago. So,
So
all right, so that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. But I think this is one of the most interesting seasons ever, as the Atlanta Braves, and I talked about this before, went 111 games before they hit the 500 winning percentage. That's
Mhm.
pretty crazy, right? I don't recall a year where any team took 111 games into the season just to get to 500, and now the Braves are rolling along, right? What do you think?
I think it's. I mean, I don't. I don't. I'm not sure it's that uncommon, but I definitely think that one of the interesting things about the Braves when they turned the tables, they started using the shift in May 19th, May 19th to be exact. They started
Right?
using the shift,
Yes, that was it.
and they used to be like over the past 2 seasons, the Braves used the shift less than any other team. Besides, there was 2 teams that used the shift less than they did.
Right.
And then after May 19th, like they have used the shift more than any other team. So
Yeah.
it is interesting to me that not only did they, improve after they acquired several pieces to their puzzle, but they improved with when Acuna was still there. They started using the shift. I think. How long has Acuna been out? He was out most of the season,
Yeah,
was
he
he?
was out all season, suspended all season, so he'll be back next year. We'll,
Suspended.
yeah, he was out. Oh,
Where the
Acuna.
suspend?
Oh, I thought you meant Acuna.
Ozuna.
No. Oh, yeah, I think you meant Ozuna.
Uh-huh.
Acuna, and that's the biggest story. I think one of the biggest stories in the history of Major League Baseball. I don't recall ever seeing a team do so well because they lost their best player. Remember, if Acuna didn't get hurt, chances are Atlanta wouldn't have made the trade to get Rosario in exchange for Pablo Sandoval. And without Rosario, I don't know if Atlanta, he was the hottest player in town. And did you see that catch he made last night?
Yes, I did actually.
Yeah, I mean, MLB TV did a great job
Doing
of
what?
replaying all the great catches in the history of the World Series. Don't forget.
Oh, they did.
Oh yeah, they did it all, and I remember very clearly, really clearly, as a 7-year-old,
Mm-hmm.
watching Willie Mays make the catch off of Vic Wertz in the 1954 World Series, proclaimed to be the best catch ever. Now, Mays says it was just one of his best catches, but it was in the World Series. And the best part about that catch was the throw, nailing the runner at third. So, yep, that's right. Dogman is here. Good morning to the great Dogman. Nice
So
to see you.
about 11:30, about 11:20 our time, I went downstairs and I had checked in with the game periodically.
Yeah.
I can't lie and say that I sat down and watched like a good chunk of the game, but I sat down. I went downstairs about 11:20. So you think of the game started about 8:10 our time. So
Right.
it should be over right about then. I searched all over. I couldn't find it it wasn't airing anywhere. So I went to, obviously Fox News was doing news at that time, or Fox was doing news at that time. So I went to MLB. Okay. We have MLB as one of our channels in our cable package. And nothing. You know what was on? You know what I watched? I watched the freaking Cubs story, the story about the Cubs winning the World Series. And I mean,
Right.
I just cried the whole time. It's these stories that they do are just, some of them are absolutely phenomenal. They're just really like show you how much heart is in baseball, especially with Cubs fans. They didn't win the World Series for so long. And there was like a bunch of different people on there talking about and showing pictures of their grandparent or their mother or
Yep.
father or whoever dying like right after that they waited their whole lives for it. I'm gonna cry right now. Like it was
Don't
so
cry.
good, but that's
I'm
not
going to
the
cry
point.
because Chris Northrup is here.
The
Good
point
morning
is
to Chris.
just what
Guest
are they?
Carrie. Go
I
ahead.
mean, can they put these on during a different time? Why aren't they, talking about the World Series right now? Like why are they having these Cub stories? And it lasted till like I would say after midnight. They didn't start talking about the World Series till after midnight.
Well, of
So
course,
go
you
ahead.
mentioned the shift, and among the things that Major League Baseball, the CBA, and they're already in discussions on the CBA. I don't think that they're going to wait till the end of the season to start discussions. The CBA is the collective bargaining agreement, which ends on December 2nd, I believe.
December, yeah.
It's being discussed now. One of the things is the shift. So should they continue the shift? You talked about how that affected the Braves. The other thing is the opener. You remember when the Dodgers in the winner take all game against the Giants, the pitching options included two guys that won the Cy Young awards. And I mean, it wasn't Urias, it wasn't Bueller, it wasn't Scherzer, it wasn't Price who pitched. It was Corey Knebel. And last night, of course, in the game in the World Series, the Atlanta, I mean, they start a guy who never pitched before,
Yeah, 2
Dylan
innings.
Lee. Remember during the afternoon when I asked you who was pitching and you said Dylan Lee, and then you had to go check it out because we
Yeah.
both didn't believe it, right?
We didn't know who he was. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the honest truth. We were like, what? He pitched 2 innings last year and his ERA was over 9.
Yeah.
So, all right. Look, he threw 15 pitches last night, broke a bunch of records for his World Series debut and all of this. Now, I guess the question that you're presenting is should we get rid of the opener too? I mean, should we? I don't know if the same people that want to get rid of the shift also want to get rid of the opener, but I just don't know how baseball would even deal with not having an opener when there's such a pitching shortage. I mean, it's like few and far between. Every year it gets more few and far between that you can find a pitcher to even throw 5 innings in a game.
Yeah, I have a poll up on Twitter, and it's basically should Major League Baseball eliminate the opener? And so far, there's been about 75 votes, with roughly 75% saying no. So I kind of agree with that, but I do think that it's not good for baseball. I
How?
mean, because we want to see the matchups. We don't want to see Dylan Lee as the matchup for Game 4 in the World Series. We want to see two top pitchers go. Lee was the first pitcher in history to make his first big league start in the World Series, and his 2 career regular season games were the fewest by a World Series starter. Right, previous to that, it was 6 by Marty Bystrom in 1980, and Steven Matz in 2015. But he's the pitcher that pitched with the fewest career appearances before making a World Series start, and I don't know.
He
It's
didn't even
it's just not good for baseball.
they didn't even tell him, Brian Snitker, they didn't even tell him that Brian Snitker said that they did not tell Dylan Lee that he was going to be starting the game until yesterday afternoon for his own sake, they said.
Yes, and here's something else. Nobody told me. that Eddie Heckman was going to be in the chat
Yay!
room.
Good morning, Eddie.
Morning to Eddie. Nice to see Eddie Heckman in the chat room, along with Big Al on the prowl, Robert Lee, Star Dog. Everybody's here. Everybody's coming. Everybody's going to be here.
Everybody.
So everybody's
Whoop-de-doo,
coming. And by the
Leonard.
way, we got Crystal Ball coming up. So hang in there, everybody. And that's it. So Dylan Lee.
So here's what he did.
He was released by the Marlins at the end of March and made his major league debut. That's crazy.
Okay, and then the only team that was interested in him was the Braves. They were the only team ready to offer this guy a minor league deal, the Braves.
Yep.
So that was based on the recommendation of their assistant general manager, Ben Sestanovich. So anyway, what did he do last night? Okay, he walked the only two lefties that he faced, and he struck out one right-handed hitter, Alex Bregman, who I'd also like to discuss a little bit as we go along.
Yep.
And surrendered an infield single versus Altuve. So he basically said, in quotes, "I know I'm a reliever now." Basically,
well, he is a reliever. That's why he ran in from the bullpen to keep his usual routine instead of the dugout, as most starters are sitting in the dugout. He ran in from the bullpen. I don't know if you saw that to start the game, to keep his usual routine. So you're absolutely right. He wasn't told about that until just before the game.
As far as like the opener goes, right?
Yes.
For fantasy people, I kind of wish for fantasy purposes that they would start using an opener more often, because it gets rid of this idea that your pitching needs to go 5 innings before they would qualify for a win. So anytime you have an opener, the next guy that comes in, he doesn't have to throw a minimum of minimum innings. He can throw one pitch and he would qualify for the win, should that be the case, right? I really think it would be great for fantasy purposes to be able to say, I mean, not that we chase wins to begin with, but wouldn't it be nice to get more wins?
You know what? The only thing wrong with the opener is just the publicity for the game.
What does that mean?
I mean, you want to see Scherzer go against Morton. You want to see two top pitchers going against each other.
So
you don't want to advertise the game and say Dylan Lee is my starting pitcher or Corey Knebel's my starting pitcher. It just takes something away from the anticipation of the game.
Do you think that they use openers for? I mean, there's a handful. I mean, I don't know. I would hope that there's more than a handful, but there's maybe a couple guys or one or two pitchers on each team that will never use. There will never be an opener for Max Scherzer. There will never be an opener unless you want to get your ass kicked. You're not putting out an opener.
Here's the deal. If a manager believes, all right, here's the deal. If the opposition is leading off the game with two left-handed hitters, because that's his MO, okay? Don't forget, in a normal game, batters get 4 at-bats. So if you could take one at-bat away from the top 2 hitters in the lineup by starting a lefty just to face 2 batters, and take one at-bat away from your 2 left-handed hitters batting 1 and 2, that's what the opener is being used for. That's what it was used for yesterday. You want to take the bat out of the hands of the top 2 left-handed. It's really about left-handed hitters. You want to take the bat out of their hands. So instead of having 4 at-bats, they'll have basically 3.
Why? Because they'll get out quickly?
Well, yeah, lefty against the lefty. It changes things around. If you, you can put an opener in for 2 batters. Quiet while I'm talking.
It's all strategic, though. You can't put an opener. Oh, you can? You can put I guess you can. I didn't think of that, because you have to have 3 as a reliever. You have to have 3 minimum.
Right, but as an opener, you don't.
Okay. Oh my gosh. See, they make these rules, they don't think them through very well. And I would say to that, and I would answer your dilemma with, stop putting lefties how many lefties are actual leadoff hitters to begin with? I would say there's very few leadoff batters that are lefty. But I could be wrong.
Right. And there are plenty of leadoff batters that are lefty.
Did you hear me? I could be wrong. I said
you could be wrong.
Sometimes.
I've never heard you admit that ever.
Right. I thought I'd let you know.
You can be. Alex Anthopoulos absolutely deserves Executive of the Year, but his predecessor, John Coppola, who got picked off for signing some players when they were too young. He
Yeah.
traded for Max Fried and Swanson and Luke Jackson. He drafted Riley, Anderson, Minter, Wright. He signed Freddie Freeman to an extension. But I got to tell you, Anthropoulos, he acquired the outfield, which was a tremendous accomplishment. Their outfield that he acquired hit 10 home runs between the four outfielders this postseason, and the Braves are one win away from the championship.
Yay for the Braves. So do
Yeah.
you think, imagine what their team would be like if they didn't get in trouble and have to suffer with the limited international picks and their losses of their draft picks, and like
Yeah,
just
that's
think of
right.
what kind of team they would be.
Yep, that's right.
So last night, Morosi, what's his name?
John Paul Morosi.
Very good guy, works at MLB, reporter. They had 3 different reporters on the field, and
JP Morosi. JP.
Okay, well, he got to interview Jorge Soler, who is absolutely likable, by the way. I didn't realize how just nice and likable he is.
Oh, he also interviewed Dansby Swanson.
Yes, I saw that one too, but that
And
was not, that
Dansby
was Ken
Swanson.
Rosenthal. that
Yeah, all right,
interviewed
whatever.
him.
Dansby Swanson has the best hair in baseball, without a doubt.
He is a great, he loves Atlanta so much. He was
Did you
born
see his
there.
hair? I'm talking about his
I
hair.
have no problem with his hair. It looked fine to me. Does
It
not
was
look
great.
bad.
He's got the best hair in baseball. I think.
How?
It's just beautiful. He's got beautiful hair.
Okay.
You're better than Malpal. Harry
ignore it.
Carey's in the chat room.
Harry
Holy
Carey's
cow.
wife was there.
Holy cow.
Oh,
Harry
that was in the
Carey's.
show.
That's
So-
Malpal.
Sorry,
Ah.
I'm being very rude, but I wanted to just mention that Harry Carey's wife, his widow wife, she was in this show that I watched. If for those of you who are just getting here, last night I searched for MLB on the MLB channel. I went to check out what had happened in the game, and I find that this documentary about the Cubbies win in the World Series in, I think it was 2017. She was in that documentary a lot, drinking beers and at the Harry Carey's bar. Remember that we went there?
Yes, we did in Chicago. Yes.
At like 10 in the morning, because you said we have to park on the street at Wrigley Field, and if we don't get there like in the middle of the night, there's not going to be a place to park tomorrow.
I thought the Harry Carey bar was in the airport.
I think they have one in the airport, but there's definitely one. There's one near the stadium right out. I don't know.
Okay.
The whole place was full, and there was a point in time in this game 7 that they had tied up the game, and it was the Indians versus the Cubbies, and they had tied up the game in the entire place. I mean, you just see the looks on these people's faces, and it was just devastating. They said, we've never seen a bar go from just go to total silence, just like that. At the hit of a bat, it's total silence. And they felt like this is what it feels like to be a Cubbies fan, like we get so close. And then I don't know. It was a great show. I cried a lot. I cried the other night when I watched 30 for 30, George Steinbrenner. I didn't realize, I only moved here 1 year after they tore down Yankee Stadium.
Yep, that was too bad. So anyway, as we move along, the teams that have a 3-1 lead, like the Braves do in the best of 7 postseason series, have gone on to win it 76 out of 90 times. That's 84% if you're scoring at home.
But like we just said earlier, dude, when was the last time the Houston Astros won 3 postseason games in a row? And it was just a week ago.
Yep. Well, and they could come back because their offense in the playoffs, they're only batting .206. They've got 27 hits, including
I'm so happy to see this.
2 home runs, a triple. They're averaging 2.8 runs a game, and they're 4 for 31 with runners in scoring position. So
they left 11 on base last night.
Really? Yeah.
11.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what they do. Now, do you think that Zach Greinke?
Yeah, Greinke.
Zach Greinke. We asked a question the other day about, is Jose Altuve a Hall of Famer? Is Zach Greinke a Hall of Famer?
I do believe that he is. I think that I have always been a fan of Greinke. I do think he's got over 3,000 innings on his arm. Can you even imagine? Okay. Yes, he's a Hall of Famer. Why not? I don't know what he would have to do. And what does he have left to accomplish?
Well, he could also be a great trivia question in a couple of years. With the advent of the potential advent of the DH in the National League next year, Zach Greinke could actually be the last pitcher to get a hit. He could be
He
the
might
last
be.
pitcher to get. He got a hit last night. Could be the last
And by the
pitcher.
way, he
What?
deserves it. He deserves that. He's a hitter. He always has loved being a hitter, and they do not care. They asked Dusty Baker last night, "Why are you batting Greinke in the 8th spot?
Yeah.
And why is he still, he actually stayed in the game to get to bat for himself when he could have been they could have replaced him in the order, but like you said, the Astros are not hitting that good. And so Greinke, yes, I mean he wouldn't probably be good enough batter to be in the lineup as a hitter, but as a pitcher, he tops the trove, dude. He is absolutely deserves to get the last hit in baseball before pitchers.
Well,
yeah.
He's also going to be a free agent after the World Series. He says he's not. And some stupid guy asks, or somebody, talk about stupid interviews. How do you ask Zach Greinke to address his future? He's a free agent. Of course, he's going to say he's not ready. That's almost. And I saw another great interview. I'm not going to say who it was, but she walks up to the player and says, "Well, you're what?" I'm going to ask you,
It's
Andrea.
Heidi Watney, and I love her to death.
I'm going to ask you what she asked the player. You're one win away from winning the World Series. How do you feel, Andrea?
That's exactly what this is the worst. I mean, I'm noticing this so much. Maybe I'm just paying more attention. I don't know if they've always been like this, but can we put a little bit of effort into these questions? Just a little.
Well, Zach Greinke has as many hits at the plate as he has hits allowed. At one point during the game yesterday, he was the first American League pitcher to get a hit since Corey Kluber did it at Wrigley on game 4 in 2016. But and since then, American League pitchers went 0 for 21 with 13 strikeouts. So Zach Greinke batting 8th last night.
Yeah,
the second pitcher in World Series history to start a game batting anywhere other than 9th. Babe Ruth, 1918. Right, started game 4 of the World Series. He hit 6th in that game, but unbelievable stats by Greinke.
Greinke needs to retire. That's it.
Why?
Well, you don't want to wait too long to retire. Greinke's obviously showing signs of wear and tear. I absolutely respect him and like him as a player. I think he should just go out on a high note. I just hate watching players stay in the game too long and go out just on a bad note. You always want to remember the good, the highs of their career, not, how embarrassing they were on the way out.
Malpal says that if Curt Schilling is not in the Hall of Fame, Zach Greinke shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. But we'll see about that.
A lot of people shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame if Schilling's not in the Hall of Fame, because absolutely, if you're just looking at stats instead of your woke nastiness, then you would put Schilling into the Hall of Fame, right?
So what do you make out of this? Greinke batted 8th last night. Okay, yes. Think about that.
He loves batting.
Now, Dusty Baker has managed 3,700 games and has never hit a pitcher 8th, ever.
Really?
That's right. So what do you think? Do you think that move was made by the front office and not by Dusty Baker?
No, I do think that Dusty Baker made I don't know. I mean, who's to say? But Dusty Baker wants to win. He will do anything.
I'm not. That sounds like one of the stupid. Of course, he wants to win.
Well, they also lost. Didn't they lose a catcher yesterday, and they had to replace him with some junk hitter?
He's not a junk hitter.
Who? Stubbs?
Stubbs is Jewish. Now that's the 4th Jewish player in the World Series. So sets a record. That's right. Stubbs replaced. I'm not saying he's any good, but he definitely is the 4th Jewish player to make it into.
Who batted 9th, dude? Maybe that kind of makes sense since Greinke has a better batting average than this guy.
Yep. Well, I know that
you like him because he's Jewish and all, but
yeah. Well, Jock Peterson's another Jewish guy. He's a win away from becoming the 9th player to win the World Series in back-to-back years with different teams. That's quite an accomplishment, right?
absolutely. Let me tell you about Jock Peterson's pearl necklace.
Oh, go ahead.
I know. So there's this guy that does jewelry for the baseball players. He's been making jewelry for baseball players for like the last 20 years.
Yeah.
And he's made everything from like engagement rings to gold, gold and earrings and whatever. Anyway, Jock Peterson came to him and said he wanted something unique and that he loved pearls. And the guy's like, pearls are for women, and he goes, I don't care. I like the way they look. I want it. And apparently this pearl necklace that he has like gone viral enough to where they're making and selling pearl necklaces at the Braves games. And so people are, even the guy that threw the first pitch out yesterday was wearing he took his pearl necklace out of his pocket and put it on. Mm-hmm. And Jock Peterson will not tell what his inspiration was for this pearl necklace, but he's rolling around, and the guy that made the jewelry, he said, this thing is not like a super expensive piece of jewelry. It's like $4,000, and Jock Peterson has like $40,000 chains and stuff. Wow. This is a $4,000 pearl necklace. And when people approach him and ask him what his inspiration was, he just makes up something and stuff like, I'm a bad bitch and stuff like that. I mean, Jock Peterson, say what you will about him. These guys are coming through in clutch situations, and I wonder what's going to happen to the fantasy value of guys like Jorge Soler next year and Eddie Rosario. These guys' ADP is going to skyrocket over this.
And wrong. Eddie Rosario is going to be so overpaid next year. This is going to be a classic case of a star in the World Series getting overpaid. Don't forget, he wouldn't even be on the team if Acuna didn't get hurt. So Rosario, who's always been known as a game time player, but during the course of the regular season, he's just adequate, average at best.
That's not true. Well, look, man, in his defense, I will say he did not have a bad season overall. He was injured for some of it, so he only had 412 plate appearances, but he steals base up. Hold on, you guys. I got to go hook Lenny back up. But he does steal bases, and he hits home runs. So I really need to make a commercial for this break time. Hold on a second. I don't know. I got to find just a second. Oh, geez. Hold on. Sorry.
Okay. Okay, we're back. And so is Chris Gallo, who's just made an appearance. Good morning, Chris. So we're talking about Zach Greinke, who batted eighth last night. As a pitcher, he has a 233 batting average against and a 275 on base percentage against. Now, as a hitter, from 2013 to 2021, He's got a 239 batting average, so his batting average of the pitcher is more than the batting average against, and a 280 on base percentage, which is better than what he's giving up. A 2.7. How many pitchers can say that their batting statistics are better than what they give up against other batters? It's unbelievable. You're out of what? And can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Good morning. Guest Elvia is Chris Northrup. Good morning, Chris.
Okay.
Now, Greinke, 38 years old, is the oldest pitcher to get a hit in the World Series. Who was the last pitcher to get a hit in the World Series? Anybody in the chat room want to take a gander on that? In the chat room, Andy, not you. Who was the oldest pitcher?
No, the only.
Who is all right? He's the oldest. So Greinke, the oldest pitcher.
No, the only pitcher.
He's the oldest pitcher to get a hit in the World Series since who?
Oh, I don't
Who
know.
was the last pitcher to get a hit in the World Series? Anybody want to take a shot about that one? Okay. So Andy, let's see. And of course in the World Series, Zach Greinke, 3,219 innings, going against Dylan Lee, 4.2 innings. So that's got to be the biggest difference in innings, the largest gap in World Series history. How about that?
You're pretty good, Leonard.
Okay. So do you think we'll ever be talking about Dylan Lee again?
Yes, we'll talk about him as a reliever. That's it. And an opener, perhaps. But, look, he had 15 pitches.
Yeah. Okay.
4 batters. He walked 2 batters out of 4 batters.
And then Kyle Wright came in. He was welcome to the World Series with the bases loaded. And the runners that he's inherited in his big league career, he never inherited a runner. And he came in relief with the bases loaded. And tonight he inherited 3 runners. Unbelievable what could happen.
The Astros bullpen, dude, they've worked their playoff high, 65 innings this season. And this postseason, they average 5 innings per game by their bullpen. Atlanta, same kind of thing, though. 4 and a third.
Yep. It's becoming all about the bullpens. And we'll see. So now with the Braves averaging 3.25 runs per game, 1 win away, Brian Snitker says he doesn't know who's going to start Game 5. He doesn't know who's going to start Game 5 in the World Series. They're not going to start Max Fried because he won't be on full rest. So they're going to hold off Max Fried. And, of course, with Morton getting hurt, they don't know who's going to start Game 5.
I really need the Braves to win this game tonight. I would be so pleased. It's just such sweet revenge on MLB, dude. They can't decide where the World Series is played, but they can decide where the All-Star game is played.
Yeah.
So, the Atlanta Braves, I just love it. I think it's great. I pray that they win tonight because I do not want to see it go back to Houston.
And, of course, Framber Valdez will be starting for the Astros. He had velocity, but nothing else. Didn't have any movement on his pitches, so he's going to have to make a big-time adjustment. And only the second shortstop in franchise history, Dansby Swanson, became the second shortstop in franchise history to hit a home run in a World Series game. I remember 1957. I was 10 years old, okay? Johnny Logan, okay, hit a home run in 1957. I was 10. I remember Johnny Logan. I remember Billy Bruton. I remember all those guys. Joe Adcock, Eddie Matthews. That's when the Braves. I actually rooted for the Braves for a couple of years. When you live in New York, you're either a Yankee fan or a Yankee hater. And I turned out to be a Yankee hater. When Lou Burdett won 3 games in the World Series, my favorite player was number 33, Lou Burdett. But then when Maris came along, I really identified with Maris as a hitter. So I became a Yankee fan with the Mantle and Maris. But
Okay.
Dansby Swanson, how about that? Great
So
hair.
going back to Framber Valdez, this guy had his ground ball rate on the season. Okay, what do you think his ground ball rate?
30%.
He might have had the highest ground balls in baseball. I've never seen a guy with this high of a ground ball rate ever in my
What
life.
was it? What was it?
70%.
Wow. But he didn't have it this last outing. He was throwing hard, but he had no movement on the ball. He wasn't getting any ground balls.
Okay, well, that's fine for that specific outing, but the problem with both him and Lance McCullers is the fact that they walk too many batters, and if they don't
Yep.
get it under control, they will never live up to their potential. But just for fantasy purposes, really, I'm talking about like relative to fantasy. Like the best, I mean, if you want Framber Valdez on your team next year, the best thing that could happen to you right now is that he just has a horrible day.
Mm-hmm. And of course, Dansby Swanson and Jorge Soler.
You love Dansby. You love him.
I love Dansby. He was the number one pick. Okay, and I love his hair. Swanson
What do
and
you
Soler,
mean?
the first number 8 and number 9 hitters ever in the history of Major League Baseball to hit back-to-back home runs in the World Series.
Was Soler batting? Okay, he was batting ninth last night, or what?
Well, he came in as a
Eighth and ninth?
pinch hitter.
Oh, okay.
He
Great.
was a
All right.
pinch hitter.
So you love Dansby, and I
Yeah.
believe that I like Dansby too. I definitely think Soler is going to see a huge jump in ADP that is not warranted whatsoever. Although
Why not?
Really,
He hits, so he's a big home run hitter. And what, he hit 40 home runs?
I got to tell you about
Soler's a
Morosi.
player. Soler
Morosi-
did not raise his fantasy value in this World Series. He already had it.
No, he didn't. Come on, man. You found him on the free agency when he was with Kansas
Bull
City.
Dinky, he hit 40 home runs. He was the leading home run hitter in baseball, if I'm not mistaken.
Soler?
Jorge Soler.
Since when? What, in 2000?
Look it up. How many home runs did he hit last year? How many home runs did he
27.
hit the year before? How about the year
Okay,
before?
in 2019, he might have been the home run leader. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
In 2019. But the problem, so going back to John Morosi, right? What a
Yes.
great, now, do you want to talk about interview, dude, quality of interview? This guy was amazing. He asked great questions to Soler. He talked to him in Spanish.
Star Dog's also amazing, by the way.
He literally translated his questions into Spanish and then told the viewers in English, and then he translated what Soler was saying. And obviously they were short a translator or something, because this guy Morosi did all of it on his own. And in the meantime, he was asking great questions that really brought a smile to Soler's face and showed his personality, which baseball doesn't do enough of. So I really liked the interview. Give John Morosi a lot of credit. He did a great job with that. So going back, Soler is overrated. He's going to be crazy overrated. He did hit 27 home runs this year, but that was in almost 600 plate appearances and a 223 batting average. Not great. Let me see where he was drafted last year. I could tell you ADP. Go ahead.
Get the ADP. Dansby Swanson's home run. He's not having a great World Series. He was the second extra base hitting 50 at bats in the postseason, and his first home run in 75 at bats going back to the end of September. But it looks like the Braves 7-0 at home in postseason play. Okay, only one team has ever gone unbeaten at home in all 3 rounds. The Philadelphia Phillies went 7. What?
Damn you! I said. Damn you. Okay.
Sorry. Who are you talking about? Damn you, LeMahieu. LeMahieu. You say damn you, I say LeMahieu.
D.D. Gregorius.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. It's Halloween.
Okay.
I'm eating candy already in the morning.
Yeah, 2008. So you're going to have to paint the face on my sweatshirt. I'm going to open up the door, okay? And I'm going to be wearing a hoodie, a sweatshirt, but I'm going to wear it backwards, okay? So instead of seeing my face, you're going to see what looks like the back of my head or no head. And let's see if that scares the crap out of.
I think people should always wait till the day before Halloween or the day of Halloween to go buy your yard ornaments and your candy and stuff like that, because every single thing is like 50, 60, 75% off on the day of Halloween. It's unbelievable how cheap it is. I was looking.
Terrific.
If we
Okay.
weren't moving, I would have came home with a whole new set of ornaments for our lawn yesterday.
That's terrific. So Solar is the first player, by the way, with both a pinch hit home run and a leadoff home run in the World Series, and in the same series, and within 4 games. Nobody else has had a pinch hit and a leadoff home run in any World Series, and he did it in 4 games, and he hit the first World Series pinch hit go ahead home run.
Okay.
Ed Sprague did it in 1992. Kirk Gibson did it in 1988. And James Lamar, Dusty Rhodes, did it in 1954.
So let me ask you a question, okay? You still think Alex Bregman is a great ball player? Great
Of
hitter?
course he is.
You
And
think so, huh?
yes, absolutely. He's a great, but he's having a tough series. What is he?
What do you think he did in the regular season? How many home runs do you think he hit?
27.
12.
12.
How many? Yeah, 12.
What
12.
was his batting average?
270.
How many at bats?
348 at bats, 400 plate appearances.
Wow, he only hit 12 home runs.
Yep.
But it looks like Baker says he's contemplating dropping the number 3 hitter, Alex Bregman. He's 1 for 14 with 5 strikeouts in the first 4 games. Wow, that's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry to break it to you, but last year in the shortened season, he hit 6 home runs. So that would be like, if you average that out over a full season, it would be 24 home runs. That's that's nothing compared to what he was doing when he was cheating. Okay, with his 41 home runs and his 31 home runs, his average and his batting average were sky high. Remember his on base percentage? Like everybody's thinking, oh, he's got, he's so good at getting on base. Well, he's not so good at getting on base anymore. He's 27, so he should be in the prime of his career right now.
Really? Yeah, I posed the question about the last pitcher to hit a home run, and it was Roger Clemens.
Oh,
Roger Clemens was the last one. But anyway, so we'll see where they put Bregman in the batting order. They'll definitely drop him down. We'll see. He's 1 for 14, 5 strikeouts. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll see about that. Now Christian Javier pitched. He had not allowed a home run on an 0-2 pitch in his major league career until Dansby Swanson came up and hit a home run.
Jason Castro's out with COVID, even though he's fully vaccinated since May. He's out with COVID. Maybe he didn't get his booster shot on time.
Who knows? And then Garrett Stubbs taking his place.
That's pretty bad.
And then you get Jose Altuve hit his first home run, and he hit a home run in 5 consecutive postseason game 4s. Yeah. Jose Altuve, Mr. Clutch.
5 consecutive game 4s in the postseason.
Yep.
He is pretty clutch. He just tied Manram, or maybe that was a couple days ago.
He did, right?
He only needs one more home run to pass up Manny Ramirez for the most home runs in World Series. No, is it World Series or no, postseason? Not. I know who has the most home runs in the World Series too.
Who's that?
I think it's Mickey Mantle.
You think it is? Now, next.
No. Who's the other Yankees that you love?
I have no idea what you're talking
Maris.
about.
No, it's not Maris.
Anyway, we talk about the opener, right? And we talk about the opener. We talk about the relief pitchers playing such a big role.
Let's talk about Kyle Tucker.
In fantasy baseball, Tyler Matzek is a star.
Yes, he is.
It's his 12th game in this postseason. Now, Mark Wohlers had 11 in 1995 for the most single postseason games in Braves history. Is Tyler Matzek become some kind of a fantasy player in your opinion?
Absolutely. Okay. For sure. He's a fantasy. Well, is he a fantasy guy? That's really hard to say. It depends on your settings in your league, because he's not the closer, and he could get saves. He also could get wins. I mean, it's a perfect example yesterday when Ian Anderson, who was it the other day, a couple nights ago, Ian Anderson couldn't get the win because he only threw 4 innings. Go figure. Mm-hmm. So you have Matzik coming in. I don't really know. Maybe he'll be the opener, but he's not the closer in Atlanta, right? So how much
Nope, not
fantasy
the
value
closer.
could he have?
But he could give you innings, and with the innings going, I don't know what it's going to be next year with innings.
This guy never pitched over an inning, and one time he did all season. One time he
Okay.
pitched more than one inning, so he's not getting innings.
And then you mentioned Tucker, who for the last couple of years I've been knocking him because
I
his
know.
swing doesn't look great and he's off balance.
It doesn't look
And
right to
even
you.
the coaching staff says they'd like to make changes in his swing, but because
That's stupid.
because he's been successful doing a lot of things wrong, they don't touch him. It's a very
Well,
interesting case.
that is
right?
not interesting. That is smart. If the guy is not broken, don't fix it. Just because it looks weird to you and it's not and it's unique doesn't mean it's bad. Look at Chris Sale. I was just reading all of Chris Sale's they at RotoWire they do a preseason outlook every year on a player, and then you can look at them past preseason outlooks. And from day one, people said that Chris Sale was going to be an injury risk because of his inverted W. His delivery is off, and like his delivery looks different than other people's delivery. But I got to say, they said that for about 5 years straight, and then they had to stop saying it after a while.
Same thing with Max Scherzer when he came up, and I saw him in the Arizona Fall League. They said he had to be a relief pitcher because he threw across his body, and they didn't think his arm was going to hold up.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that doesn't really pan out. That's not a good idea to be.
Yeah, but getting back to Tucker, 5 stolen bases, second most by an Astro player in a single postseason. Carlos Beltran in 2004 stole 6.
Okay.
Now, here's my question.
I lied about Manny and Jose having the same number of homers tied. It's not true.
It's not true. Manny is 29, Jose is 23.
Right.
And Bernie Williams is 22.
Well, he was tied with Bernie Williams last time I checked.
Okay.
That's why I thought.
Still a Yankee. Now, here's my question. Fantasy question.
Okay.
Travis d'Arnaud could be a pretty good fantasy catcher next year, right?
Defensively.
Well, that's what I'm getting to.
If you're not running on this guy, dude, you ain't running.
Base runners are 17 for 17 off of Travis d'Arnaud in the postseason. He's thrown out 2 of 45 in the regular season plus the postseason. The 2 he threw out, Lane Thomas and David Bote. So what do you think? What do you think about Travis? Are you worried if you have Travis d'Arnaud as your catcher next year? Are you a little bit concerned he's going to lose a lot of playing time or lose his job?
Okay, well, first of all, he's not going to lose his job unless there's somebody there to replace him, right? I mean,
no, they don't need a catcher. Just throw it off the umpire's nose.
I think
of course
he's a
you
good.
gotta have somebody
I think
replace him.
Just because you can't throw batters out doesn't mean you're a bad catcher. There's a lot of other things that a catcher
but that's
does.
a big deal in baseball. It's a big deal.
Biggest. Okay, well, let's see who's his backup. Let's see if he's.
Oh, by the way, I just got a call from Crystal Ball.
Waiting outside.
No, she's stuck in an elevator, so she'll be on with us tomorrow. Okay. Just letting you know, she'll be on with us tomorrow.
She's stuck in an elevator.
Yeah, she's in an elevator.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
That I do not like.
No. Anyway, so there you go. Most home runs in the postseason is, of course, Manny Ramirez. And so, what do you think of Travis d'Arnaud if you have him as a catcher?
Okay, I think that his backup, as we speak, is William Contreras, which he's only 23, so he could be the future of this team. You know what I'm going to look at? Here's where I start. This is where I'm starting with the Travis d'Arnaud idea. I start with the contract. Let me check out the contract.
Okay.
He signed a 2-year, $16 million contract extension with the Braves in 2021. So that means that they actually have a team option for 2024. He's not a free agent until they deny his team option. So they're paying him too much money to sit him on the bench. That's my personal opinion.
All right. Before I talk to you about the collective bargaining agreement, ask you what you think. Just a couple of names. Thiago Vieira of the Yomiuri Giants has about 5 Major League Baseball teams interested. He throws 100 plus. He set many pitching records in Japan, so we'll watch him. Just another name that's going to be bantered around.
Did you know that the Padres hired somebody named Oakland Athletics guy?
Yeah, Bob Melvin.
Bob Melvin.
Oh yeah,
Did
and
you know that?
that's a bad sign for Oakland. 'Cause, Oakland was a contending team. They're breaking up that team. They're going to be
Hey,
reducing payroll. Melvin was only earning $4 million, and they just gave him away to slash payroll.
well, they have a ton of arbitration. There, a lot of guys are in pre-arb right now. They're about to
Yeah.
hit arbitration, so that's the reason that they gave. I mean, Oakland's never been a rich team. They're
Nope.
paying. I mean, you look at their payroll. They're. I'm not kidding. I started digging down the rabbit hole today when I was looking at payroll, and when I read about Bob Melvin, and I read what you just said about the fact that they gave him up for, they were only going to pay him $4 million, and obviously the guy's been part of this team for a long time, 10 years probably or so. Anyway, and has been very successful. But you look at these payrolls, like for instance, I looked at when Crystal Ball will answer a question tomorrow about Trey Mancini and whether or not he will be traded away. You look
Yes.
at Baltimore's payroll, they're literally paying 3 players, dude, more than the minimum. 3 players, and none of them are getting paid more than $8 million. And Trey Mancini is the highest paid player on this team. Their entire payroll for active players is $20 million for their
Wow.
entire payroll. And then they owe Chris Davis $17 million on top of that. But you think about that, that's less than Mike Trout makes in a season. That's less than a lot of players. It seems to me like baseball is really turning into this like really high paid few, the top 1%, and then the rest of the 95% of baseball, they're getting paid less than $10 million a year. Like a lot of them are getting paid five.
Is really
Minimum
turning
wage.
into this like of baseball.
I'm sorry.
A lot of them are getting paid
I'm listening to you. There you go. All right. So anyway,
Okay,
let me
so you
just
didn't
ask
listen to
you.
a fucking word I just said.
No, I didn't hear a word. What'd you say? Did you say a 4-letter word?
No, it's got 6 letters or so.
All right. Listen, thanks to Chris Gallo and James Caprion, Mal Powell, and Robert C. So let me just end it with this, Andy. Do you, first of all, who's going to win the World Series?
Atlanta.
Second of all,
Go Atlanta. Okay, did you see the play? I don't know if you saw the place last night. It was unbelievable. It's such a great feeling to see. I mean, you just watch the crowd at these games, and I will tell you that baseball is so not dead. It is not dying.
it's not dying, but what do you think is going to happen with the collective bargaining agreement?
I think they'll figure it out, even though half the crap that they're trying to negotiate doesn't even matter. But I do think they'll figure it out, or they'll postpone it.
Postpone. I know you said that a couple of weeks ago.
I've been saying that for 6 months.
You've been saying it. That makes a lot of sense. So they're going to possibly postpone it.
But if you read every media outlet in the world, they all have the same article on there. But I don't know where to try to find where the article started. Probably at the Associated Press. But either way, it's the things that they say, like it's imminent that there's going to be a strike and a shortage.
Yep.
I
don't know about a strike. It'll be a work stoppage.
That's a strike, dude.
Yeah, I spoke to Craig Mish the other day. His prediction was definitely a work stoppage, but it might not be a long one. That's what he thought.
Well, when does work start, dude? When does it start? Because look,
when does it start?
It
stops at December 2nd, and it starts when they started.
Listen to me. They don't report to spring training until late February or early March. So,
but the work stoppage means, listen to me, it means no free agencies, no trades, no off season.
Goodbye.
You can't have that in baseball.
I'm done.
You've been done for a while.
Oh, yeah, with you.
Okay. On that note, thanks to Chris Gallo. Thanks to James Caprion.
I'm getting rid of you so that I could say what I wanted.
Thanks to Robert C. I'm done. She's staying. So stick around. Listen to this nonsense. Go.
Let me stay for a second. No,
listen.
The work stoppage, the supposed work stoppage. So, in a fan's mind, really, I understand that there would be the winter meetings wouldn't happen, I guess, and the free agent trades wouldn't really happen. Although I know the Rule 5 draft would still go on.
Nothing goes on.
Yes, it does.
Nothing. Work stoppage means no Rule 5 draft, no nothing.
Okay, well, there's precedent saying that it does happen.
All right. Well, maybe you're right for the first time.
Wait. My point is that this supposed work stoppage, unless it runs into spring training, is not going to affect anybody in the baseball fandom hood.
Oh, come on. The off season is sometimes better than the regular season. The free agents rumors, the trade rumors, it's one of the best things about baseball.
Well, think of this. I mean, who's going to lose out if they do have that work stoppage between December 1st and spring training?
Everybody
Who-
loses out. The teams
which-
lose out.
Is it the
the
team
pla-
owners or the
Everybody.
Players Association? Which
Everybody
side loses
loses.
the most?
The fans lose. The
Goodbye.
players lose. Everybody
everybody.
loses.
You're
Okay.